Do you know how to talk about your hometown in English, but not how to keep the conversation going?
Then this lesson is for you.
Today's topic is your hometown, a very natural topic that comes up in real conversations all the time.
Yes, definitely. Even if someone doesn't feel strongly connected to their hometown, they can still talk about what it's like, what has changed, or how they feel about it now.
That's true. And that makes it a great topic for this series because the goal is not only to answer a question, it's to keep the conversation moving naturally.
Right, so instead of saying one short sentence like, it's small or it's nice, we want to add detail, react naturally, and ask follow-up questions that help the topic continue.
So let's start with a very simple question. What's your hometown like?
My hometown is fairly small, quiet, and familiar. It's not the kind of place people usually visit as tourists, but I think it has its own charm. It feels comfortable, and there's something nice about knowing the streets, the buildings, and the general rhythm of the place so well.
That's such a natural answer because you didn't just describe it, you also gave a feeling. So it sounds like it's less about excitement and more about familiarity.
Yes, I think that's true. It's not the most dramatic or lively place, but it feels grounded. There's a certain comfort in places that know what they are.
That's a lovely way to say it. So what kind of place is it? More urban, more rural, somewhere in between?
Probably somewhere in between. It has enough shops, schools, and everyday services to feel practical, but it still has a slower pace than a big city. People don't usually seem in a rush, and that changes the atmosphere quite a lot.
That makes a lot of sense. So would you say pace is one of the things that defines it most?
Yes, definitely. I think pace affects how people experience a place. In a smaller town, things often feel more personal and less anonymous.
That's such a good point. Do you think growing up there shaped you in some way?
Probably yes. I think the places we grow up in always influence us, even if we don't notice it at first. A quieter place can make you appreciate calm more, or notice small routines more, or feel more connected to familiar spaces.
That's very thoughtful. So it's not only about the town itself, it's also about what kind of habits and feelings it creates in you.
Yes, exactly. I think your hometown becomes part of your inner picture of normal life.
That's beautifully said. What do you like most about it?
I think what I like most is the sense of familiarity. There's something very grounding about a place where you already understand the atmosphere. You don't have to work hard to feel oriented there.
That sounds very real. So your connection to it is more emotional than dramatic.
Yes, I'd say so. It's not the kind of place I'd describe as exciting every day, but it still means something to me.
What about the disadvantages? What's difficult about living in a smaller town?
I think one downside is that there's often less variety, fewer places to go, fewer events, fewer opportunities in some areas. And sometimes a place that feels calm can also start to feel a little limited.
That's such a balanced answer. So the same quietness that feels comforting can also feel restrictive.
Yes, exactly. A lot depends on what stage of life you're in and what kind of energy you want around you.
That's very true. What about you? What's your hometown like?
My hometown is a bit livelier. It's not huge, but it feels active enough that there's always something happening. I think what stands out most to me is that it feels social, not in a loud way, but in a way that makes daily life feel connected.
That's interesting. So when you describe it, the first thing you talk about is the atmosphere between people.
Yes, I think that matters a lot to me. A place can be beautiful, but if it feels cold or disconnected, I don't enjoy it in the same way. I like places where there's some life in the streets and some warmth in the general mood.
That makes sense. So would you say you feel proud of your hometown?
In some ways, yes. Maybe not in a loud, romantic way, but I do feel a connection to it. I think when a place is tied to your early life, your memories, and your sense of belonging, some kind of pride usually appears naturally.
That's such a good answer, and it's useful for learners too, because it shows that you don't need dramatic language, you just need honest language.
Right, you don't have to say your hometown is amazing or beautiful if that's not how you really feel. You can say it feels familiar, comfortable, lively, quiet, or meaningful in a smaller way.
Yes, and that's what makes the conversation sound real. Do you think people usually talk more about the place itself or about their memories there?
I think it often starts with the place itself, size, location, atmosphere, what it's like, but then it naturally moves into memories because that's where the emotional connection usually is.
That's such a strong point. So if someone says, my hometown is quite small, a good conversation doesn't stop there.
No, not at all. You can ask, what's it like? What do you like most about it? Has it changed much over the years? Do you still go back often? Would you like to live there again?
Those are excellent follow-up questions, and they work because they move naturally from description into feeling, memory, and preference.
Yes, and that's what keeps the conversation alive. You start with the place, but then you open the door to more personal ideas.
Do you think people always have to love their hometown?
No, not at all. I think some people feel very connected to it, some feel mixed about it, and some feel like they've moved on completely. All of those answers are natural. The important thing is being able to explain your real feeling.
That's very useful, so even a complicated answer can become a good conversation.
Definitely. Sometimes the most interesting answers are the mixed ones. For example, I like some things about it, but I wouldn't want to live there now. That gives the other person a lot to ask about.
That's so true. What do you think makes a hometown stay important to people?
Usually memory, identity, and emotion. Even if you leave, the place often stays connected to your idea of where things began, and that can remain meaningful for a very long time.
That's such a thoughtful answer. So if someone asked you, why is your hometown a good conversation topic? What would you say?
I'd say because it connects to place, memory, identity, change, and feeling. Almost everyone has something personal they can say about where they come from.
That's such a strong answer, and that's why this lesson matters. We're not only learning place vocabulary, we're learning how to build a real conversation from a simple question.
Exactly.
Now let's look at the key phrases from the dialogue and see how to keep a conversation going in English when you're talking about your hometown.
Yes, because this lesson is not only about describing a place, it's also about how to answer naturally, add detail, and ask the kinds of questions that keep the topic moving.
A very natural opening question is, what's your hometown like? Where are you from originally? Is your hometown big or small?
These are simple, friendly questions that work very well in conversation.
Instead of only saying, it's small or it's nice, add a little more. For example, my hometown is fairly small and quiet, but it has its own charm. It's not very big, but it feels friendly and familiar. It's a lively place with a lot of energy. It's somewhere between a town and the countryside, so life feels a bit slower there.
That gives the other person more to respond to.
This topic becomes much stronger when you talk about atmosphere and feeling. For example, it feels familiar. It has a slower pace of life. There's a strong sense of community. It feels calm and grounded. It means a lot to me because I grew up there.
These phrases make your answers sound more personal and natural.
Once someone answers, ask something connected. For example, what do you like most about it? Has it changed much over the years? Do you still go back often? Would you like to live there again? What's the best thing about growing up there?
These are great because they move the conversation from place into memory, feeling, and personal experience.
A very natural way to sound thoughtful is to mention both the good side and the difficult side. For example, it's very peaceful, but sometimes it feels a little limited. I like the familiarity, but there aren't many opportunities there now. It's a lovely place to visit, but I'm not sure I'd want to move back permanently.
That kind of answer sounds much more real than trying to make everything sound perfect.
Here's one short model answer. My hometown is fairly small and quiet, but it has its own charm. What I like most is the sense of familiarity and the slower pace of life. It feels calm and comfortable, and it means a lot to me because I grew up there. At the same time, there aren't many opportunities there now, so I'm not sure I'd want to live there permanently again.
That sounds clear, natural, and very easy to use.
So as you can see, keeping a conversation going in English is not about using difficult grammar.
It's about answering with a little more detail, reacting naturally, and asking follow-up questions that keep the topic moving.
Exactly. And talking about your hometown is a perfect topic for that, because most people have feelings, memories, and opinions connected to where they come from.
And if you enjoy lessons like this, don't forget to subscribe.
It really helps the channel grow and reach more people.
And it helps more learners practice real, natural English.
So subscribe, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!